Hello, good morning. I am officially calling this the start of Con Crunch. Woohoo! We got a lot of stuff to do. I am adding stuff to the list as we go. I need to start checking stuff off the list to make sure it's done. I haven't touched the wigs since WonderCon and they need restyled so bad. And I also might emergency style a different wig as well. I just pulled my Aryan cloak out and realized I never finished it. I didn't do the clasp on it yet, so we gotta do that too. And I just tried on the top for the first time, and that's going to be something. We might be taking my other chainmail top. We might be trying it on over top of the corset I made for Ren Fair, because I think that that could also be a look. Unsure as of yet. But what I do know is that we have lots to crunch about. So let's just jump into it. Yay! I do have a full wig video coming out soon if you want more details on what I did for my prep here, but I washed Allison, restyled her. I restyled the braid for Rhaenyra. Lionel, I have this short black wig that I just kind of put curls in and then loosened them out and then kind of manipulated them around so that they would look good under the crown. I also took Rhaenyra season 1, and so I did go in and kind of just comb out and recrimp the bottom of that wig, and then I sprayed it for flyaways. I go way more into depth in all of this in my so many wigs video, which will be out soon if you're watching this when this came out, or it's already out, so yeah, go watch that. Yippee! Here is our update. I have all of the wigs done, but I need to do a hair and makeup test for Thursday for the secret project. I have my hair stuff here because I was styling wigs, so I am gonna just do a little hair test. I have an inspo pic. Let me find it. I did just like browse Pinterest for some vibes. I've only found really like one hair vibe that I really like. Well, actually I have a few. I really like this one, but I don't think, like these pieces specifically, I don't think I can do that with my blonde hair. I just don't think it'll look the same. I don't think you'll really be able to see it as much, but I also really like the pearls. I would have to go buy some, so we'll see. But then this is my other inspo. I really like these kind of like slick, you know? So I think we're gonna go for a half up, half down, and the down will be curled day of. And I also have pink and blue hair wax, spoilers, for it. So I will be putting that on my hair, but I think I'm gonna do half up, like space buns, but the buns are this. So I'm gonna try that now, and then once I have that done, I will go do a makeup test. And this is my makeup inspo. I really like this one. So I love the red in the inner corners, but I also love Emma Chamberlain, was a big inspo for my hair and makeup. Love that. So we'll see. I did pull out some makeup earlier to look at when I was putting on like a very blank base canvas for us, but I don't know yet. I am going to just lock in. Here's another eye makeup inspo. This is definitely giving away what my secret project is, but it's all very, yeah. So I think I am just gonna lock in on my hair real fast and get that done, finish my show. Also my camera is gonna die and I have like no space, so you might not get to see a lot of this. Love that. Okay. I don't fully know how I feel about the hair, and I don't fully know how I feel about the lips now that I'm seeing them out. And maybe it's the hair and the makeup, but this eye is good. I don't know if I'm gonna do this part. That was in my inspo picture, so I did just throw it on. I also think it should have been feathered out more now that I'm looking at it in the camera. I really like the lips in the mirror. I don't know how I feel about them now. We'll see. This was the eye that I did first. It was okay. I love the way that this, like, especially right around my eye looks. But I think this is too much, and the glitter that I added on at the end was too much. The base of this eye is what I'm going to go with, and then we'll see the rest of it after. I also don't have, like, my foundation base on, so that might be throwing me, and I went for my dark blush, and I didn't fully contour and bronze today. So I don't know. And then this will be, like, bigger, and I won't be in, like, a t-shirt. Maybe that's what's throwing me. I feel like I went too drag. Like, this is too drag. I feel like the lipstick kind of works with it. I don't know. I just wanted to see what red lipsticks I still had. And the red lipstick that I do still have, I don't like. And then I was like, oh, I still have some black lipsticks. I started throwing them on, and I was like, this is gonna be so dry. It was not. It was totally great. And then I had this red lip gloss that I threw over everything. So I think I kind of like the ombre. And then I tried to do a little in the corners right before I came up, and I think that that's what did me in. I think I need more red than black. But I don't know, I'm also looking at a teeny tiny screen. It looked good in the mirror, so who knows? Maybe I just don't like it on this teeny tiny screen. I think this is good for hair and makeup test. I think I'll have to just do another hair test when my hair is freshly done, and then we'll be good. I just need to go remember what I did for this. And funnily enough, I have like 4 or 5 different red eyeshadows that I tested. I swatched on my hand, and it was the one that I was like, no, I don't think that's gonna be the one that I want, because I have a lot of old 2016 prime, 2015, 2016 in the prime time makeup, but I tore a lot of those palettes apart and I just put them in like a magnetic one for easier storage and transportation, because I do use them a lot. And the one that I was not expecting to like was the one that was not even one of the Jeffree Star Morphes that I have from back then, which is so funny, and it's shimmery, but it looks really good, like right like that. So I think this is good for now, and we can move on to other things. And like every Con Crunch video I do, we're probably gonna be packing my makeup soon. So you'll get to see it then, because I will print them all out. But I'm gonna go wash this off and shower now. Great. I also, real fast while I'm plugging in my camera, literally, hello, let me in. Anyways, I was growing out my nails. I was picking at them really bad last night. They need repainted. But I did end up breaking this one the other night when I was coming home from the bar crawl for Lexi's birthday. So I will be filing them into points, specifically because that one broke and that was what I wanted to do. I also need to paint them, but I think we're going to just try to do that closer. I know exactly how I want them to look. We just have to, like, fingers crossed that it turns out. But that is something that we have to do. Remind me. And then I need to also just bring a nail file. And you know what? I think they'll be fine for the rest of the weekend, though, if I have them like that. But yeah, actually, it'll be fine. We'll just play it off. The one thing I knew I needed to do for Con Crunch this year was actually alter my Rhaenyra Season 2 costume. This costume was so uncomfortable. It was so tight in the shoulders and the armpits, and the sleeves were too tight, and it's been needing some alterations for a while. I was actually intending to fully go in and rip out all of the lining. I decided that was a little too much, so I did just rip out the sleeves lining, and then I added a little bit of material to the side seam so that I would have a better range of motion in my arms, because I could not lift up my arms even into like a T-pose before. So I opened up the lining, and then I measured that, and then I found my pattern pieces, and I just drew myself out some little triangle shapes for the pieces that attach to the sleeve, and I did match the armhole seam and that kind of curve, and I made sure it wasn't blatantly weird when I did it, but that's basically what I did for that. It is the actual bodice side seam that is a little more intricate. But let me tell you, this worked out so well. I was so comfortable all day. I used to literally not be able to even sit in this costume or like walk around for more than a few hours, but I was feeling good in this time. Alright, here we go for the bodice. So I did trace this with my tracing wheel onto paper, and I started with the front, it looks like, and then I did the back second. But I traced it, and then I went in with pencil, and I added my seam allowance, and I was careful to acknowledge which seams on my patterns were the ones that were seam allowance and which ones were the actual seam lines, if you catch my drift. I did give myself a little bit of extra length when I was tracing that, and here you can see me actually going in and confirming exactly where I want that edge to be. I also marked out exactly the amount that I was adding to the sleeve at the armhole so that I could match that up, and then I just traced the waist across, matched those together pretty much, and then made sure that the joined back up into a nice point on the hips. And that's how I got this cute new pattern piece. I had so much material left over from this, and thank God I'm a hoarder, because I had this perfect little strip that fit them perfectly. And I did cut these pieces out with pinking shears so that it wouldn't fray, because I knew I wasn't going to be reattaching the lining pieces, and I was only doing this out of the self fabric. I just didn't want it to fray, and I also didn't want to serge it, so pinking shears it is. They're like my favorite tool right now, funnily enough. I did forget to differentiate on the pattern when I drafted it, which was going to be the back and which was the front, so I did start attaching these pieces together, and then I was like, wait, which one is which? And so I went in and I put a pin on the back side so that I could match them up. I did the armhole seam first, and then I went very carefully through and pinned it together, starting at the armhole seam. It's the junction point for all of this. And I just pinned really carefully, and I made sure that everything lined up properly, and it did perfectly, so I'm very happy with that. I did remember to rehem the sleeves, thank God. I put it on and I thought I forgot. The last thing I did was I went and I trimmed any edges of the gold work that had snagged on the sleeves. It's really snaggy. I've lost so many little spirally pieces. It's actually kind of sad. This is my baby. Moving on to Supergirl. I did your classic saran wrap and painter's tape to make some boot covers. I really should have just bought the boots when I bought the costume, but I was worried about timing. I did only get this costume like a week before the convention, and I paid for expedited shipping. It took like a whole month for this thing to get to me, so I was a little nervous, and I bought it like 5 weeks beforehand. But I am wearing the boots that these boot covers are going to go over, so it'll be exact, and I'm just saran wrapping so that the tape doesn't stick to me, and then rolling that painter's tape on me. This would be easier if I had a friend do this, but I just did my knee last because I knew I wouldn't be able to bend it. So yeah, and I also was intending to do straps underneath the boots, which I did, so that is why I went all the way down and around and underneath. And I'm just making sure everything is covered and that everything looks good and there's no big gaps or anything. Funnily enough, I actually forgot to grab a pencil right away, so I did kind of have to hobble around and find one. But I did find one, and then yes, I know that I did the boot shape wrong. Okay, I know that the top is wrong. I fix it later. But I also did an inner thigh, inner leg seam, and an outer seam. And then I also did an ankle seam.
And then I just went around the edge of the platform of my docks because that's where it's gonna end. And then I did do some little strips down, and I did a top of foot seam, and I didn't do a back of foot seam so they can stay connected and be one piece on the back at least. And then I started tracing this out in Sharpie, and I was like, I can see it just fine, so I'm just gonna cut it out. And yeah, I was really scared I was gonna cut my socks, actually, but I didn't. It was fine. And then, yay, you have immediate pattern pieces. Woohoo! I did go in and add a few darts on some of the really shaped pieces. I didn't have to since I'm using such stretchy spandex, but I did for some reason. You actually can see I think I did tape up the one again on the back, and then I ended up cutting out the one on the front, even though I sewed a nice little dart in. It's fine. This is all fine. This is all fine. I love it here. I wanted a nice edge where the edge of the boot cover was gonna go, and I didn't want fabric all the way on the bottom, so I did just line the actual foot piece in this red mesh that I have from something, and that went really well, actually. I'm really happy with how that went. And then I did use some black spandex mesh to go underneath the shoe in just two little straps, and that blended perfectly. You can't even see it.
Okay, hello. Welcome back. It is Sunday afternoon. I am alone. I have 2.5 days to get everything packed and perfect. I'll probably finalize packing on Wednesday morning before I go down, because I don't need to be down there until 2, but I do have to be hair and makeup ready, which I'm probably gonna do down there, I think, so that it's all fresh. I might like start the hair, but I want the makeup to be generally fresh, even though it's just a dress rehearsal. It is too hot to work in the garage right now, so we won't be. However, I really didn't remember where I was going with this clip when I started actually talking. Supergirl costume is here. I did order a size up for comfort, and it is quite big. It's really funny, actually. The bodysuit looks humongous at the waist, and the skirt looks so small. So funny thing that they have done there. But I will be doing small alterations for that. And I also realized that I did her boots, the V on the front of her boots, the inverse of how it is. It does kind of come up, but then there's a deep V deep in. So I have those almost put together, and once they are put together, I'll just put them on and redraw that line. And then I have the gold trim for that. But I will be doing that in a bit because it is too hot to do that now. So for now, I am actually going to bleach my roots first and foremost, and then start pulling stuff to pack, get out my suitcases, all that kind of stuff. I have my kitchen is where I'm gonna do it all. Literally, I'm just gonna start laying stuff on my couch over there. And yeah, I have a few things. I need to do slight repair on this crown. I am glad that it has kind of been sitting here for a bit because it does have a few cracks in it. And I can also show this now. I didn't think I was gonna get to work on this, but Lexi's partner's friend actually built Dunk's shield for us. It is pretty big, but I am just gonna go in and I'm gonna paint the back, and I'm going to rig a strap so that he can just kind of throw it crossbody like this. You feel? And then there's like a few spots where like the trim is kind of, you know, so I might just actually run some like taper or something along the edge, but this is great. And it's great that I didn't have to do it. And I put it all away already, but they also got an insane rope to be his belt. So that is so exciting. So we do still have quite a bit of stuff to do for our con crunch, but I am going to just start with my hair because that's going to take a minute to do and process, and I have to be really careful with it because I did it too recently and I have quite a bit of breakage. So I am probably going to do it in like 2 sections and be really careful with it. So it's going to take me a little longer, but it's hot, so that's fine. So we're just going to jump into it, and then I'm going to start packing. I have to go to the store still. I'm probably going to go tomorrow when it gets hot tomorrow. Fun times all around, and I love playing with the heat like this. Okay, purely raw reactions. Obviously, we got some issues here by a lot. And also the butt of it is really big, and the zipper did just immediately break. Like I just pulled, it didn't break, but I did just pull this straight off of it. So yeah, and then the neck is like, she's broken in. I'm sweating profusely, but the boot covers are perfect. It's a little baggy in the back and the butt. You don't get to see it because, well, I am wearing shorts underneath it, but the butt is really baggy for some reason. I do need to go look in a mirror still, but this is going to be way less than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Either my torso is really long or the one in this is really short, because the bodysuit aspect of this is just wildin'. Okay, first impressions though, I am a fan. I am a fan of the cape, and yeah, it's honestly a little wide in the shoulders. But other than that, I'm happy with that, honestly. No, I will do some adjustments on the butt because it is so baggy. Maybe I'll just there's a seam on the side right here. I am wearing tan shorts. Then I might just take this in. You did get to see it after all. Where's a pin? But this is gonna be a vibe once I alter it. So let me throw some pins in a few spots. Maybe right here too. Yeah, that'll be fine still. Sick. Okay. This thing literally looks like a big flat tarp when I first pulled it out, and it is a little loose right here, but it's just flat right there. But I'm probably gonna be wearing something more compressing on the day, honestly. Well, maybe not. I don't know, I need to look in a mirror while I put pins in, so that's what I'm gonna do. Whew, wow, okay.
The one official pattern I did actually make for the boot covers was for the gold pieces, and that's because flinging it felt a lot harder. So I just pinned the side seams completely flat, and then I laid it on top of this paper, and I pinned it down, and then I traced it, and then I just added like 3/4 of an inch, I want to say, to the inside edge, because it's gonna wrap up and over. So I'm thinking like this already has 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on it, and then I need like another 1/2 inch to go up over that 1/4, and then another 1/4 to go around the back. If you catch my drift, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, I did that for the front and the back, and then I just cut it out of the gold, and then I just sewed it on. It was pretty easy. But I kind of wish I'd put a little tan piece in the middle of the V. I think that would have kept it up better. For the alterations on the suit, I did go through and I hand stitched where the pins were on one side, and then I knew that at least for the sleeves I was going to be cutting off the excess. I didn't want to cut off the excess for the body necessarily, just in case I wanted to re-alter it again, but for the sleeves I did just pin it, and then I used my knife on the overlock to actually cut those off, and then I immediately laid the other side down, and I used the excess that I had cut off as a guide for where I needed to sew the other side. So I just used that and chalk and made a line, and then I just lined that up with where the knife cuts on the overlock, and I got matching sides, and it worked perfectly. Yay! I also used the overlock for the pointedness of the shoulders. I just rounded out the shoulders quite a bit, and that worked really well. It actually looked really good on. And I did hand sew both sides, and then I went in with the overlock afterwards. I didn't need to hand sew, but I was just sitting inside doing nothing. So for the actual body, I stitched one side, and then I initially was going to use the same overlock method and decided against it just in case. And so I did just do a zigzag stitch along the one side before pinning along that seam and using those pins as a guide on the other side of where I needed to sew. I love doing this. It works insanely well. Like, you could use tracing paper, or you could just pin the sides together and then bullshit your way through it, and that's my life motto. Okay, we're back to boot covers, I guess. This is the order that I actually sewed things, so I think that this gold material is super hard to sew because it's really old and sticky, and so it's pissing me off, so I probably took a break from it is what happened. But I did just clip the corners, and I ended up clipping them pretty much all the way in and getting rid of them because they were annoying me, but then I just kept pinning everything flat and then folding it flat, and I ended up hand sewing it down because, like I said, my sewing machine absolutely hates this material, and that worked really well. For the Aryan cloak clasp, I was looking at photos, and it turns out they're cute little leaves, so I traced my pattern angle to get a perfect angle before drawing a little leaf on there in the right shape, and then I just cut it out of the paper, and then I cut it out of the foam, and then I did a little trick for if you need to form your foam and you don't have a heat gun, you can very carefully, and I mean very, very carefully, use a lighter to do this. So I scored the foam first where I wanted it to indent, and then I used the lighter to kind of seal the foam and give it that little indent, and then I also used the lighter to just heat it, and then I used the other end of the X-Acto knife to kind of mold it a little bit, if you catch my drift. If you can see what I'm putting down here, if you're real careful, you can do this, or you could probably use a candle, and that'll work even better. But don't forget, you still do have to seal your foam, and I used Mod Podge, and then I painted. And that was it. Yay! I did a little dry brushing too. You'll see in a second. Sorry, this voiceover is really crazy. This is like truly train of thought one. So I hope that you're enjoying it though. I am, that's for sure. To attach, I don't know why I was like, yeah, these definitely have to be removable. So I used some sticky Velcro and it worked, but they don't need to be detachable. But it is, I guess, kind of nice that they are, but truly I'm just gonna rip off the Velcro too. I think I was thinking that I was gonna put the chain on the foam, when in reality the chain was actually way too long, but I was too lazy to cut it. So I did just kind of like stitch it in there quite a bit, and I just like lined it up a lot and then hand sewed it onto one side. And then I did attach a clasp to the other side, but truly on the day, I don't think I used the clasp because it was hanging awkwardly. I just safety pinned the chain to the other side underneath. Honestly, I did all this work for nothing. Not for nothing. It looks good. And it did fit well, but I just needed a different clasp in a different spot. Or to cut the chain. But that seemed like so much work in the moment. So, safety pin to the rescue. Truly.
Okay, I can't see myself. You can't see my face anyways. I started packing. I've mostly packed. You can watch the whole thing on TikTok. We're mostly just doing belts and random stuff now. I also have no idea what my Aryan looks like, so.
If I were to do this strap again, I would keep the arm strap exactly how it is, but for this one, I am fully intending to just punch some holes right where the trim is on the front and run a zip tie through it because these did tear immediately, and I did take the tape with me, but there was just no fixing it, truly. Like, they just did not want to stick. And it's that those little tape pieces that I am taping down are just sliding out because they're not stuck on both sides. So it either needed glued on, or I'm just gonna run a zip tie underneath and attach the strap to the zip ties, because the strap worked perfectly and it looked great, but the whole rest of it did not want to work. It was nice. It was a nice try. It was a nice thought in the moment, but a zip tie would have been genius, truly.
Okay, everything is done and packed except for one thing, and it's my secret project. But because I have decided that this video is coming out after San Diego and after you see my vlog and everything, that I will actually tell you about it and explain it. And it is just, well, it's packed. And I have a call in like 30 seconds. But I have a lot going on. I'm sweating my ass off. Oh my God. Okay, everything is packed. I didn't show it this time. Well, I showed it on TikTok, except for my makeup, but everything else was on TikTok because I always show packing my makeup and hair case, so it's literally in every Con Crunch video ever. I even did it for Ren Fair, I think. So go watch those if you want to know what's in my makeup bag, or maybe I'll do a TikTok on it at the con. I don't know. So sorry for that abrupt end. I just got offered a job. Anyways, okay, cool. We'll be covering that at a later date, I do believe. Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know. Oh, okay, I have to fix part of my skirt. Let me actually grab that. So another cut. Okay, I can take this off too because I'm sweating, but it's like a comfort blanket. Okay, oh my God, sorry. If you hear me say huffs, just know that that is the Her Universe fashion show. That's what everyone calls it. It's always the Huffs show. It doesn't actually make sense to say Huffs show, now that I think about it. That's Huffs, okay? This is Huffs, everything is Huffs. Anyways, my Huffs skirt, when I did my hem on it 2 weeks ago, oh my God, was that 2 weeks ago? Last week? I don't even remember, truly. We realized that these slippery ribbons do not work to tie this together. So I think I have a little bit of the string that it's a trim, of the trim that I will be using to lace up the back of the corset. I think I have enough of it to replace this. And luckily it's just tacked in like one spot on the front and 2 spots on the back. So I can just rip that out really easily and then put the new cording in. I also have a white cording downstairs that I could use that honestly might grip better. Maybe I'll just use that instead. Okay, but I do have to do that really fast. And then I do still have to pack my book box that I am taking, which is just my little book rolling cart thing, because I'm gonna put the alcohol in it that we will be safely consuming in our room, okay? Because we got our schedule all dotted down, and I should have filmed some of that. That would have been great for this. But we got our schedule all like kind of figured out, and we realized we don't have like a party night other than the after party for Huffs on Thursday. We have that. But the boys can't come to that, so it'll just be me and Lexi at the Huffs VIP after party, because it's a VIP after party and they kept talking about all the influencers and celebrities that are coming. So hopefully that's a good time, but we're probably just gonna be like winding down drinking most days. Or if we like go back to take a little break where we're like, okay, we have like 3 hours with nothing to do, let's go sit down in our room. We're so excited to have a hotel within walking distance this year because we did not last year, and we learned that that was a mistake last year. So we did it all right this year. I feel like I want to make a how to go to San Diego video, but I still don't know. So, you know, maybe. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna pack my book box, and that is gonna have the crowns and stuff in it. I also need to fix the Lionel crown a little bit. It has some cracks. I'm just gonna shove some hot glue in them. Do I pack the hot glue gun? Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is immediately yes. I need to ask Lexi what swords she wants, and then I think we're done. We're so close. We're literally at the finish line. I do need to go clean out my trunk, wash my car maybe, and I have to grocery shop still. I do have to go to Target still. It is noon, it is Tuesday. I am leaving, not at the butt crack of dawn tomorrow to go down, but I'm leaving generally early. I don't have to be checked in until 2. I don't have to be at the hotel until 2, but I will be going down early. That is not for you to know though, that is for vlog to know. This is Con Crunch. What am I doing? Okay, I still have half a day, and I'm going to be doing some of my grocery shopping there, so I don't have to lug it in and out of the hotel. But I can put stuff in the book box now, so I'm probably gonna get more than I was expecting to. I also pulled out my random stash of energy drinks that I will be bringing. I need to find, I have like a little cooler bag that I'm going to put them in, along with some water bottles that I have in my fridge. So those have been room temperaturing so that they're not all condensation-y, because it is really humid and kind of hot here right now, as it is hot in the rest of the world. So yeah, that's the update. Okay, I'm literally out of SD card space. That is actually crazy. I filmed for 3 hours for this video. Love that. I was gonna say, okay, I started that way too soon. I was gonna say welcome to a new location for us, but you've absolutely been in my entryway before. You've seen me get suitcases out of this closet a million times, I know it, but this is all of my packed bags. It is also a lie because I wanted to film TikTok intros and take an Instagram photo. This bag is not done being packed, and the box is not done being packed. I honestly think I have to completely reorganize the box, but whatever. I just have to get this stuff in. I have to get the books in carefully, and the crown somehow. The crown honestly might be floating for reals, but everything is ready. I went to the store. I forgot half the shit that I was supposed to get at the store, so I'm gonna text Lexi and be like, hey, I forgot this stuff. You go to Target and get it, because I don't think Ralph's is gonna have it. We were talking about getting a lot of book signings, but instead of bringing like a shit ton of books, I was like, let's just get book templates. Let's just get some Avery labels and make some book templates. Or book plates. Book plates. That's what they're called, where the author just signs the sticker and then you stick the sticker in the book. Yeah. Anyways, I am, however, taking, this is my favorite book of last year, and V.E. Schwab is going to be there. Fingers crossed we get in, but I am bringing my bookish box version of Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I think this one is my favorite by far, and I already have a signed first edition regular cover, and then I have the Fairy Loot as well, but I like this one better than the Fairy Loot. This one does have a digital signature, but neither of them are signed. So I'm bringing this for V.E. Schwab to sign, and then we are gonna try so hard. It's gonna be literally impossible, but there's actually so many signings. We're gonna try really hard to get Matt Dinneman signing. We're really hoping for Sunday, but he's signing like every single day. The best one though is of course the day that I am completely booked. So I need to get those in the book box, figure that out. Yeah, and all this needs to start going in my car. But for you, maybe I'll show you what my car looks like with all of this stuff in it. I just need to not put the stuff that's not ready to go out in yet. So talk soon. Okay, everything actually fit in my trunk really well. I'm not putting the box out because that is the thing with the melties and my drinks and snacks in it. So it gets hot in my garage and in my car when my car's in the garage. So that's not gonna go out until tomorrow. That means we are done. I need to drink some water. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch a Marvel movie because I have been watching Tom Holland's whole filmography since I saw The Odyssey the other day. So, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. This one was like slightly chaotic, and then like I thought I was done, and then it was like chaos again because I wasn't done. And I'm just so scatterbrained right now, and I didn't make a list. So, and I need to go make a life list now because things are happening in my life. You don't get to know that yet though, okay? You gotta wait like a month before you find out. Cool. Okay, I'm just being super vague now. Oh my god. Have I made it because I'm vague? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you. Well, you've already seen it, but I will see you at San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, you've already seen it. This is after. But then I will see you at Huff's stuff. So I hope you enjoyed just a month straight of her universe stuff, because that's what's coming, okay? So I hope you like Harley Quinn as much as I do. Why else are you here? Obviously. That's it. Bye. Bye.